What if I told you one of the greatest kings in medieval history was slowly dying? That he ruled while his body rotted away, and that his enemies knew his weakness, yet still feared him? This is the story of Baldwin IV of Jerusalem, the boy king cursed with leprosy, who stood face to face with Saladin, the most powerful Muslim ruler of his age, and won. This is not just a story of war. It's a story of pain, faith, courage, and a king who refused to surrender, even when his own body betrayed him. Baldwin IV was born in 1161, heir to the fragile kingdom of Jerusalem, a Crusader state surrounded by enemies. As a child, Baldwin seemed normal, energetic, curious, sharp. But something was wrong. One day, while playing with other boys, they pinched each other's arms to test bravery. The other children screamed. Baldwin felt nothing. No pain. His tutor, William of Tyre, realized the terrifying truth. The boy had leprosy, an incurable disease that would slowly destroy his body, ravaging his skin and weakening his limbs. In the medieval world, leprosy was a death sentence, a merciless verdict from which there was no escape. Victims were shunned by friends and family alike, forced into isolation, and believed to be cursed by God for sins they may never have committed. Entire communities would cross the street to avoid them, and monasteries and leper colonies became their grim refuge. Yet despite the weight of such a cruel fate, Baldwin was destined to be king. Even as his body betrayed him, his mind remained sharp, his spirit unbroken, and a strange, undeniable sense of destiny seemed to hover around him. An invisible crown heavier than any physical ailment, waiting for the day it would rest upon his head. At just 13 years old, after the death of his father, Baldwin ascended the throne, a child, a leper, ruling a kingdom constantly under threat. Most believed he wouldn't last long. They were wrong. Jerusalem was not a powerful empire. It was a thin strip of land, held together by fragile alliances and constant warfare. And rising in the east was a man named Saladin. Saladin united Egypt and Syria, something no Muslim leader had done in decades. His goal was clear: destroy the Crusader states and reclaim Jerusalem. Saladin knew Baldwin was sick. He believed time was on his side, but Baldwin refused to rule from the shadows. As his disease progressed, his hands began to deform. His face developed sores. His vision weakened. Still, Baldwin rode into battle, not as a symbol, as a commander. In 1177, Saladin invaded with an army of over 20,000 men. Baldwin could barely muster 500 knights. Any other king would have retreated. Baldwin did the unthinkable. Despite being carried on a litter because he could barely walk, Baldwin led his army to confront Saladin at the Battle of Montgisard. The odds were suicidal, but Baldwin made a bold move. A sudden, surprise attack while Saladin's army was spread out and unprepared. As the Crusaders charged, Baldwin ordered the True Cross, the holiest Christian relic, carried into battle. According to chroniclers, Baldwin dismounted, knelt in prayer, and asked God for strength. Then he attacked. The result was astonishing. Saladin's army collapsed. Thousands were killed. Saladin himself barely escaped with his life. A teenage leper king had humiliated the greatest general of the Muslim world. From that moment on, Baldwin was no longer seen as weak. He was feared. But victory came at a terrible cost. Leprosy is relentless. By his early 20s, Baldwin was blind in one eye. He could no longer feel his hands. His face was permanently scarred. Wounds became infected without him noticing. Bones weakened. Fever haunted him. Yet Baldwin continued to rule personally, signing laws, negotiating treaties, appointing commanders. He even restrained reckless Crusader nobles whose greed threatened the kingdom's survival. Baldwin understood something many rulers didn't. Jerusalem wouldn't fall because of enemies alone, but because of division within. As Baldwin's health declined, the question became unavoidable. Who would rule after him? He had no children. Court politics grew vicious. Power-hungry nobles plotted, knowing the king was dying. Still, Baldwin held on. He appointed co-rulers, removed corrupt leaders, delayed the inevitable as long as possible. But leprosy cannot be outrun. By 1185, Baldwin IV was only 24 years old and near death. Baldwin IV died quietly in Jerusalem. No crown, no armor. Just a young man whose body had been destroyed, but whose will never broke. Within a few years of his death, internal conflict weakened the kingdom. Saladin returned stronger than ever, having united much of the Muslim world under his command and learned from earlier clashes with the Crusader states. His forces moved with precision and determination, striking fear into the hearts of the defenders. In 1187, after the decisive Battle of Hattin, Jerusalem fell to Saladin's army, bringing an end to nearly a century of Crusader control over the Holy City. Many historians believe that if Baldwin IV, the Leper King, known for his courage and strategic skill, had lived longer, his leadership might have held the kingdom together and given Jerusalem a chance to withstand Saladin's assault. Yet with Baldwin gone, internal divisions and weakened defenses left the city vulnerable, sealing its fate in one of the most pivotal moments of the Crusades. Baldwin IV wasn't a great king because he conquered lands. He was great because he ruled despite unimaginable suffering. In an age where strength meant physical power, a dying king proved that courage, intelligence, and leadership mattered more. Baldwin IV didn't defeat leprosy, but he refused to let it define him. And that is why, centuries later, we still remember the Leper King of Jerusalem. If you enjoyed this story of courage, faith, and leadership against impossible odds, subscribe to the Achiever channel for more powerful stories from history that inspire greatness. Don't forget to like this video and comment your thoughts below. Do you think Jerusalem would have survived if Baldwin IV had lived longer? Your support helps this channel grow, and I'll see you in the next story.